Hey, it's Tess. I thought I'd go live today and talk just a bit more about U squared. This is a book that's talking a lot about quantum leaps and how to do quantum leaps and how to make your life move forward faster than ever. And really, I know they're calling it quantum leaps, but I think it's almost like they could call this book Just Get Out of Your Own Way. And I think it's just because we allow things, past things, or thoughts that we have to block us from moving forward. So in my head, I'm going to call it Get Out of Your Own Way or U squared, however you want to call it. It's just the idea of recognizing that we're probably our own worst enemies. And it says really, the whole idea behind taking quantum leaps is to choose a different set of risks. Go for the quantum leap. It feels kind of clunky. It's something we're not used to. Many of us are, I'm not going to say all of us, because I do know some risk takers or people that I wish I had learned to be risk takers from a lot earlier in life. But many of us were groomed in that, be careful, you could break a leg, it won't be good, money's bad. This is, with so many things that narrowed what we could accomplish, that we fell into a pattern of not taking risks. And I'm going to challenge myself, and I hope that you'll challenge yourself to go for the things that are in the back of your mind or that are in your gut, or the things that you think you should have always done that you didn't. Because I kind of have this thought, and I think most of us have it. I would rather know that I tried something and it failed than to go to the grave and wonder if it would have worked. So I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to have opens of what ifs. I just want to keep moving forward and find the spot. Even if it means the timing's not right and I have to come back to it later, I'd rather be actively moving towards something than sitting down waiting for the perfect timing. For me, that's actually an important thing. And somebody just gave me a thumbs up, so thank you for that. I don't see who's on, but thank you. I do appreciate you being here. Again, the biggest obstacle to overcoming the odds is never challenging them. And I think too many of us, I lived life not challenging them. Some of it had to do with medical issues, and it's kind of a funny, it's funny now, it probably wasn't funny at the time, but I've told stories throughout, and they're actually in my book too. For those that don't know, I am a recent author. This is my book, Courage to Change. But I had two big issues, two things that I remembered, and I kind of shared in the book, that were big things for me to try to overcome because I had that limiting belief, or that hesitation to take risks. And one of them was the 300-mile bicycle ride for Make-A-Wish. I didn't have a bike. I was doing a spinning class at a gym, but I didn't own a bike. It was 3 days, 100 miles a day. The first time I ever did it, there was more miles on the middle day than any other day. And and for those in the north, 110, 115 degrees on a day that you're riding 7 hours on a bike isn't necessarily the best thing, because I was going through like the farmlands, and it was a rough day. I can remember I literally prayed through the entire ride, please God get me to the end, because there were people that collapsed. But the thing about it is, when I got back from that ride, my doctor pulled me off the side and said, I'm so upset. And I'm like, why? And she said, because I have to go to Dr. K, your hematologist, and apologize to her, because she was right. You should have never did that ride. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you didn't know, and I'm glad I didn't know, because I finished it and I'm pretty happy about it. But it was funny. It was that thing that she said after, in the beginning, I had a surgery 30 days before the ride, and my doctor thought that it corrected things. And it didn't correct things. There was so much more going on inside that they had to do an exploratory, and that's when they found what should have prevented me from doing the ride, and then they fixed it. But I did a ride, actually sick, and the doctor was like, no, I have to apologize. And I'm like, well, I never lied, I never misled, and we agreed together to let me do it. Now, I still don't regret it, but it was that idea that I had to take a risk, and that risk is something that I hold in my mind when I'm struggling, that if I pulled off some of the stuff I pulled off in times in my life when I should have never been able to do it, then there's a lot more left in here to kind of share. Another thing I talk about is that one summer I decided that, hey, there's a summer class on diving. The materials are going to be no problem for me, but I knew that the swimming was going to be a challenge, because you had to do a timed amount. Oh, I got another thumbs up. Thank you. You had to do timed swimming laps with weighted belts and full gear. And you had to come in. It was like 36 laps in like 8 minutes or something, 9 minutes, something like that. But I remember 2 weeks before the exam, my instructor pulled me off the side and he said, "You're not going to make it." And I'm like, "Please don't pull me yet. Let me at least get these 2 weeks and try to see what I can do. Because if I can be ready, if I can pass the test, then please let me go to the certification." Because we all went to a gravel quarry in Bowling Green, Ohio, I think it is. And we went to a gravel quarry, and that's where we certified to dive. But I go, "Please give me that 2 weeks." And I swam 100 laps a night for 2 weeks before that exam, passed the exam, beat every girl in class, and beat 5 of the guys. So it's sometimes just that thought. When you decide that you're not going to be beaten by a risk, you just keep moving forward. So I want to challenge everybody. Don't let the old you stop you from moving forward, and don't let the people in your life stop you from moving forward. You might have to do a little investigation, a little learning, a little opening yourself up to new opportunities. But if you don't, you'll never know what you could do. Today I was talking to my illustrator on my book, and I've known her for a long time. And she said, I was thinking recently about who you were when I first met you. And she said, the things you're doing right now, she goes, I would never have saw it. And I said, well, I'm glad that you feel that way, because I would have never saw it either. But it's never too late. And when you keep going through doors that you don't think are meant for you, you might find that somewhere down the line there is a door that's been waiting half your life for you to go through it. So don't sell things short. Just keep moving forward. I think for all of us, don't live regrets. Don't take the gifts to the graveyard with you. Keep them front and forward so that you can be taking steps to move forward. It says the risks hit you as rather apparent and maybe quite threatening, but you must stack them up against the idea that hidden risks that you accept when you decide to live with the status quo. So you might be apparently able to see the risks on jumping forward, but do you ever consider the risks of staying in the same seat forever? And there have been a couple times in my life where I didn't move fast enough, and I can see now where it could have been different, and I wish I had seen it sooner, but at least I know I can keep moving. And I got another thumbs up, so thank you. But I think that's an opportunity for all of us. Look for the opportunities to change faster. I often talk about I got stuck in the starting gate because I wanted the perfect plan from start to finish, but there is no such thing as a perfect plan. You take a step, you adjust. You take another step, you adjust. This week I've been completely involved in like getting the life insurance stuff done. I've got my appointments done for all the companies. I've got all the pre-approved states out, and now I'm working on the fingerprinting. And the only reason that's not done is I had to wait till I could get an appointment to get the official fingerprinting done. But it is kind of funny because today already, one of the states that I applied for and been approved in less than 48 hours, I'm getting texts from people going, "Can we talk? I am an agent in this state that you were just licensed in. Can we talk?" And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not ready for that right now. But it's kind of cool that you can start seeing, like my friend, she was talking about the life insurance and this infinite banking concept that I'm involved in now. Here's another book, The Infinite Banking Concept. It's the idea of taking back the finance part of your life. It's about taking control of your financial future by using specially designed whole life policies so that you can take back the banking function and internalize it in your own area. We use specially designed high cash value whole life policies. If anybody talks to you about this and says, IUL, run fast, run hard, and come and see me even before you ever go that route, because there are a lot of opportunities available. If you really want to learn about this, I'd be happy to hold your hand. Please direct message me, and I'd be happy to get you down a path so that you can learn what I started learning about 5 years ago. I myself am actively involved. I have 3 policies, and my only regret is that I didn't know a lot sooner. But okay, back to U squared and taking the jumps. I think about, had I known, I'm grateful, like even when I did that 300-mile bike ride the first time, my doctor was absolutely off the charts that if she had realized how serious I was in the middle of a medical thing, she would never have let me ride. And I will pray and thank God every day that I was allowed to do it, because it showed me that you can push past things. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone, I'm not medical, I'm not encouraging anyone to go against something that they shouldn't do. But for me, it was a really important turning point. And that's what I want to do, is ask you to be open, so that whether it's learning this new banking concept, I would never say jump into it blindly, but I would say jump into it with an open mind to learn, because maybe there's something that I'm learning that I didn't know and that I'm learning now that you may very well realize the value of if you give yourself a chance to learn. Ask yourself if what you're risking if you do not go for the quantum leap. The risk is that you won't get what you really want out of life. And I'll say that even about myself. I often say that the stuff I'm doing right now was never even a dream. Even when I had surgery 10 years ago, it was never a dream. It was never even something I reached for, because I didn't think it was something that I could do. I was living in this box that I thought I was supposed to live in. And honestly, if anybody knew me when I was younger, I always tried to live under the radar. I didn't want to be seen. I thought that I wasn't supposed to be seen. And so I lived under the radar, which is not exactly who I am now, but it's never in hurting somebody else. It's just that I want to share what I've learned, because if I can help somebody else overcome obstacles faster than I did, then that's the greatest gift that I can leave behind. They don't need to remember my name 100 years from now, but if I touch lives that are still being improved 100 years from now, then that's a pretty beautiful thing. You can only decide which risks to take, and you can only decide if you're willing to take those risks. And for me, it's been the greatest 5 years of my adult life. Anyone who watched, I was posting a bunch of reels yesterday that were events that I've gone to, because I recently looked at the events that I've attended. And since Doc V said go to masterminds, and I thought I shouldn't go, and he challenged me to go to 3, I've been to 22 since July of 2021. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was July 2021, but I've been to 22 events all around the Money School crew. Somebody from that crew was at every single event I attended. But that kind of makes sense for me. That might not be your crew, but taking back your financial future, that actually should be for all of us. We should all want to learn about it. But for me, that is my crew, because financial reporting in the insurance industry was my life for 30 years. I just found a new way to work with insurance and finance so that I could reach people in person, because in the first part of my career, the W-2 career, it was behind a desk preparing 150-page quarterly statements to file with NAIC and the state regulatory boards. So now I get to do it differently. I get to see people and meet people and help to meet them where they're at, and maybe help them to take the quantum leaps so that they can change their lives. It says, in order to take a quantum leap, you simply have to take an opportunity that you've been ignoring. You have to take a chance, take a different road, go down a different path. And I know for myself, I mean, I'm doing a lot of things. Like I reached out to, and I'm going to try to make a call. There's a lot of changes now. I worked in the home office of Trinity Health, and I actually ran a business resource group called Ability. And I was very, very shy and introverted then. And I had an amazing mentor who helped me try to overcome that. But I was still kind of shy and quiet as I left there. And I reached out because, I think coming full circle would be if I could do lunch and learns in the place where I kind of went down this journey, because that's where I had my surgery, was at the time that I worked in that organization. And for me, that's like coming full circle. If I could go back to the place where I kind of started down this new life and maybe help other people, that would be a beautiful thing. So I'm in the works of trying to get that going. And I've had a couple of conversations, and I'm going to reach out. I have a name of somebody and see if I can't connect with them. Right now, it's going to be a little bit harder, because I understand that the offices are not fully operational yet, and that's okay. That happens. I think we're seeing more and more offices with people in them, but that's going to just take time. The one thing about this quantum leaping, like I said, it's called U squared and quantum leaping. I think basically it really boils down to take a chance, risk believing in yourself, go for something you didn't go. Don't take the gifts to the graveyard with you. Try them out. Reach for it. What's the worst that can happen? If you don't make it, I did that bicycle ride. Now, and I'll tell you, I prayed all the way through that bike ride. But I think in praying through the bike ride, I got through it. yes, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, because that middle day where it was like 110. And for the people that are in warm climates, that's not a big deal. But for me in the north, where we get below zero in the winter, over 100, like 10, 115 degrees, riding a bicycle for 7 hours during the day, it was a rough day. And there were people that collapsed. And from everything that I heard, I probably should have never been doing that ride. But it's a great gift that I got to do it, because it showed me that I've got a lot more grit in me than I ever realized I had. And if it wasn't for that grit to dig in and say, hey, I don't care what this one says can and can't be done. I don't care if they tell me I can't do it. I'm going to show them that I'm not going to give up trying. And I think it's just a case of finding the way to do it. It may not be the way you first try. You're going to have to try it again and again. I mentioned when I first got on today, I finished up the appointments for 3 insurance companies this week, and I've applied to 6 states for licensing. So I'm licensed in close to about 8 states right now. But the funny part was this one that just hung over my head that was making me crazy. It had this training, and every time I opened it up, it would open up to like 30 more sections inside this section. It was all annuities, something I probably will never write, but it would open up to 30 more. And then I get down to the end, and I think I was done. They opened up and it would have 30 more inside of there. And I'm like, will this ever end? But I just had to keep pushing through, and I'd get as far as I could, and then I'd come back to it. And now it feels really good to be at this point, because they're done. They're done. And now I'm at a point where I've got a lot of that cleared out, and I just have to move forward. But it allows me a different opportunity. I love meeting people. I love helping people with learning what I've learned about taking back control of your financial future. And in the idea that when you take back control of your own financial future, you create a legacy for your family. If you teach your children, and I have that book here too. Chris Noggle and Hannah Kessler wrote a book too. I wonder if I have that close by. Here it is. I knew I had it. This book is actually Hannah Kessler and Chris Noggle wrote this one. And this was a really, really cute story too, because they teach children some lessons about respecting and loving the things in your life. And I don't want to give it all away, but it was also around the idea that you could also use it to teach money, but it's not a money book. It's about life lessons, and it's really a beautifully written book, and it's a cute story. I joked with both of them and said, if I was still in the bookstore doing story hours, I'd have you guys buy a companion, life-size, and I would have somebody, because whenever I did story hours, we'd have life-sized characters in the story. So I'd read the books, and then we'd have the characters sitting with the kids. And I'm like, we'd make you get one of those characters and do it. But this is a great book. I recommend it. This is a great book, but I'm not going to, I'm happy to walk you through it. So if you want to read this, then let me help you through it. Or if you just want to reach out to me, I'm willing to help you through it. And then, like I said, my little baby that I released about in the beginning of February. But it's all these things that are in my life that were never there until I took a chance, until I took a risk and stopped letting what I thought other people gave me as my life, and I started pushing past the boundaries of even what I thought. I chose risks. I decided that I would rather risk it and fail and learn something than to have never risked it. I don't want to take the gifts to the graveyard. And if you don't take the risks, the gifts will go to the graveyard with you. And that's a Les Brown thing. Don't take your gifts to the graveyard with you. You want to believe in yourself. You want to give yourself a chance to move forward. This isn't a case of taking a big chance. It's a matter of giving yourself a big chance. So you're not taking a big chance, you're giving yourself a big chance. Those are beautiful words. But if you try to minimize your vulnerability by avoiding a new set of skills, you kill the chances for a quantum leap. And I know they call it a quantum leap, and more what I'm seeing, the things that people are calling quantum leaps are just simply opening the door and giving ourselves a chance. So if you call it a quantum leap and that motivates you to jump, then jump. If you can just say, hey, I'm going to be open and I'm going to move forward no matter what people tell me, then move forward that way. Whatever positive words, be really careful, your words are important. Whatever positive words you can use to motivate you to move forward, Use them. I meditate every single day. I journal every single day. When I can tell that my thoughts are getting a little polluted, I will listen to positive things in the background, just low enough that I'm not focusing on them, but that if my Dr. calls it monkey brain. If my monkey brain is going down an avenue I don't want it on, there's something to distract it. If I'm having a really hard time and I'm going to sleep, I know historically I used to ruminate at night and I'd wake up feeling terrible. And one day it dawned on me, if I fell asleep with the TV on and something horrible came on TV, I would wake up feeling bad. Or if I was feeling bad in general, I knew my mind ruminated at night. So what I started doing is playing positive affirmations. The one and only time I got that stupid sickness that took us into lockdown for so long, I literally played 8 hours of healing meditations as I went through that. And for me, it wasn't that, I was done within about 24, 48 hours, but I just slept and got it done. I actually drove back from Buffalo sick, and then spent about 48 hours, and then I felt pretty good afterwards. And honestly, I'm going to say this idea of taking control of your thoughts and going for the things that maybe you were afraid to go for before. I was sick a lot more in my life when I wasn't taking the chances, when I wasn't taking the risks, because there wasn't excitement in my life. I think everything kind of polluted inside, and I didn't let it go, so I didn't feel good. I didn't have something I was looking forward to. I didn't have joy that I needed in my life. When I let go of limiting beliefs or being afraid to take that jump, I haven't been sick. I mean, it's that one time I really haven't been sick, and I think it's because I pushed away all the blocks that were just kind of polluting here, and I let myself reach for things that I never thought were opportunities for me. And it was so funny today when my illustrator and my editor for my book said, I've known you for 30 years, and I would have laughed at anybody who said that you would be living the kind of life that you're living now, because I would have never thought that it was even remotely possible. Because in those days, I truly did believe that I was supposed to live under the radar. I tried hard not to be noticed. And I don't know if it stems from being a child redhead, that there was a lot of teasing. So I tried every summer to blonde out my hair, and every summer it would get redder the more I tried to blonde it out, because my mom wouldn't let me dye it. So I would do things like lemons, and it always drew the red color out. So it was the funniest thing. The more I tried to hide it, the more it came to surface. And it was one of these odd things, because you went to the beauticians and everyone oohed and ahed, and when you went to school, everyone made fun of you. But in those days, I didn't understand. It was something different. It wasn't the norm, and that's why the attention was drawn to it. It kind of, I mean, it was personal, but it wasn't personal. It was just that was that thing I had that nobody else had legitimately, and that was the thing they were going to grab onto. But I let it affect me, and that is my fault. And not anymore, because, this is who I am. I do the best I can, and if it isn't your cup of tea, it's okay. I send you off with love and wish you the best. I don't have any heart or ill will to anyone. I just want to do the best I can. And if there's something about me that's overpowering to you, I'll send you off with love and wish you the best. It's just the way it is. But before I sign off today, I love quotes. So here's one quote by E.B. Cummins. Once we believe in ourselves, we can risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, or any experience that reveals the human spirit. So what is your human spirit full of that you could reveal if you let curiosity, wonder, and spontaneity open up the doors to the things that are hidden? And I really truly believe, now that I'm even talking to you about this, some of the illnesses that I struggled younger were because of the things that I held inside, trying not to be noticed or trying not to step outside of the box. And it was a huge disservice to me. And if you feel that, if you stop and you think and you meditate and you find some quiet time, maybe you'll find that there are some things inside of you that you've been afraid to let out. And honestly, what's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work, then you tried and you have no regrets, and you didn't take your gift to the graveyard because you tried. And it's okay to try and find that there's another avenue. That's totally okay. Honestly, I think that's what we're here for, is just to keep piecing it together. So that is kind of what it is we're here to try, to experience, to move forward, to stop blocking ourselves. And then they won't have to create books about quantum leaps when it's just simply, in a way, opening our eyes for a new opportunity. Another quote that I saw, this one was from Golda Meir, and it said, "Trust yourself. Create the kind of self that you will be happy to live with all of your life. Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner sparks of possibility into flames of achievement." Now, I love that. Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner sparks of possibility into flames of achievement. Let's reach for those sparks, fan them, and create magic. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I'm grateful for all of you that have supported me over the past few years. I mean, it's been probably 4 years I've been going live, and well over probably close to 2,000 videos now. I've started putting these lives back on my YouTube. I actually did something too, so I'm going to start, somebody challenged me to start going live on YouTube, so I'm going to start looking at doing that. I had to unlock something, and I did that recently, so I'll have to give that a try. But thank you guys. Your support means everything to me. If it wasn't for you always being there cheering for me, I might not have got quite as far as I did, because in those moments when I had a little bit of doubt, it's your support that's always helped to push me through. So thank you. Again, this is an amazing book for kids, my book. And then I am here for you if you want to take back control of your financial future. I've spent 5 years digging in. I've been working this process for that time, and I know it's changed my life. And my only regret is, since I wasn't able to have children, that I don't have children to pass it on to, but there are people in my life that I will share this with, and we will leave this world better than we came in, because I can't think of a better gift that we could leave when we're called home. Remember, when we're called home, we're sliding into home plate, high-fiving God, and he'll be telling us what an amazing job we did. Let's all do this together. Thank you. Have a great night, and let's go create magic. Thank you.